So would you like to know more about what life coaching really is, how it can help you create the life of your dreams? Well, thanks for finding your way to this page. Nobody comes to this page except somebody who has a part of them that wants a greater, freer, fuller life. And looking at the opportunity for how you might have someone actually help you unlock the power in you, unlock your potential to actually live that life. Now, if 25 years ago somebody had said, I'm a coach, the common statement following that statement, I'm a coach, would have been, what sport? But not today. Today, the industry called life coaching is one of the largest and fastest growing industries in the United States. And there's a reason for that. Because people have learned that this one rare, precious thing called our life goes and goes quickly. And that there is a way in which what's already inside of us, which is massive potential, the ability really to translate circumstances into results that are not what we're fighting or wish would go away, but literally results that we love living from. That happens not just in a few rare people, but it happens for and with people who actually get a structure of support to help them move from one result to another. So if you're living a life right now where you're struggling to make what you would really love come into a reality, and you might be making progress, but it's not at the speed. It might be too slow, too painful even, or no progress at all in something where you feel like you've been stuck for a while on that. Or if you're not sure what you really want, you don't know really what your dream is, but you know that the life you're living now is not enough, that there's a part of you that goes, there's got to be more than this. Or if you have what I'm going to call a soul-sucking job, or an unhappy love life, or you feel stuck or limited in your finances, or your health is not robust and alive-making and vibrant, or you have a lifestyle where you feel constricted. It's not the life you really wanted. It's not the one you dreamed of for yourself. It's certainly not the one you thought you'd be living. And you want to change that, but you're not sure how, then you're in the right place. Because life coaching is more than just the same tired old life lived over in a little bit new and different way. It actually is a system of transformation where you move from one result called your life that you can measure in your health and your relationships, your vocation, your time and money freedom, or lack thereof, and through a system of transformation, you literally move your life in what most clients consider to be a relatively short amount of time, a few months, a year, and they're on a whole new plane, a whole new place in their life. Now, I know the secrets that successful people have used to create their lives, their success. A life that they love living, the income they desire. And what's more, I know that those secrets can be used by anyone. I know that there is an invisible pattern for the visible thing we call our results. See, in 1967, I was told I was going to die. I had kidney disease, I was in the hospital, I was in intensive care, I had one kidney that was totally destroyed with nephritis, kidney disease. The other kidney had 50% destruction and active nephritis. And in 1967, we had no dialysis. We had no kidney transplants. And in 1967, every MD, every specialist, every surgeon said to me, what you have is a death sentence, but we may be able to get you a little more time. If we can get the blood toxin level in your body reduced enough, so you can actually sustain a surgery to remove your right kidney, then maybe you'll have 6 months to live. And a person that today we would call a life coach walked in my room the night before the surgery was scheduled to remove the right kidney and introduced me to some things that over time radically changed my life. It started by her pulling a chair next to my bed, first of all asking permission to talk, and I was scared and I said, okay, I was having surgery the next day. So just imagine, 18, year before I get pregnant in high school, I get kicked out of high school and told to go to a high school to finish my senior year with pregnant girls and delinquent boys. That was the high school that was available to me. And it was not even held during daylight hours. It was held after dark. Now I'm diagnosed with a fatal disease. I feel like I'm being punished for being a bad girl. I didn't even know I had all these thoughts going on inside me. She pulled a chair next to my bed and she said, would you be willing to tell me what's been going on in your life the last year or two? And as I told her my story, at the end of that story, she looked at me and she said, Mary, everything's created twice. And I had no idea what she was talking about. And she said, you know this. Everybody knows this. Almost nobody knows the power of knowing this. The bed you're laying on, the nightgown you're wearing, the sheet covering you, the walls, the ceiling, the floor, all the machinery you're hooked up to. First, it had to be a thought before it could be a thing. And again, she said, you know this. You just don't know the power of knowing it. So right now, let's look at your results. Your health, your relationships, what you're doing with your time and your talent. What is your time and your money freedom? Is this the life you would really love to live? Everything's created twice. And then she said to me, I can hear in your story how much you love your little boy, your little 7-month-old boy. I can hear that. But I also can hear how much you've been hating yourself. You feel like you shamed yourself, you shamed your school, you shamed your family. And now how you're in consideration of how everything's created twice, could you consider that there's a possibility that that toxic thinking that's been going on inside you with a lot of emotion for the last few months and what's going on in your body and your physical health might have something to do with each other? That toxic thinking actually is part of the toxicity that is rampaging your body and threatening your very life. And then she gave me a pattern for a way of relating to my circumstances and relating to my past and holding a vision of what I wanted for my future in terms of raising my son and also becoming a teacher, which was my dream at that time. I'd always dreamed of being a teacher as a little girl. Only now I got pregnant. I get kicked out of high school. I'd go to a night school to finish my high school diploma, which I now had, but I'm in intensive care. And she began to unlock the invisible side of success for me. She became, for me, my very first life coach. And frankly, without that life coach, I wouldn't have ever survived to raise my son, to build my own work in the world. And all the web, as you search the web, there are a handful of people that have been doing the work that I've been doing in this business, in this industry, for over 30 years. So from 1967 to 1981, I was a student of transformation. I got my undergraduate degree and my master's degree and attended a seminary for 2 years. I studied transformation every angle I could find it from different religions to philosophies to psychology, getting a master's degree in counseling psychology, to the science that was emerging where we began to recognize that you could actually measure thoughts and their impact and their influence in this magnetic field in which we live and move and have our being in. And I began a coaching business. And I grew that coaching business in several different forms over many, many years. I've had the privilege of coaching and working with hundreds of thousands of individuals, helping them transform their lives, often in great big venues, often in groups where I've helped them over time. And over time, I've worked with individuals and small groups and corporations, and I understand the invisible side of success, and I also understand how transformation works. How easy it can be when you have the right training, when you have the right support, when you have the right structure. So I just want to say to you, the part of you that's looking for more, you can trust that part. You want to support that part. You want to help that part because your world currently is full of circumstances. And those circumstances scream loudly at you about why you can't do what you want to do and why you can't be who you really want to be. And who are you to think of it anyway? And that voice for contraction is as loud at times as the voice for expansion. The only difference is the people who are really successful in life choose the voice for expansion and get support. So the part of them that wants to go forward gets to win over the part of them that's afraid, or the part of them that doesn't think they're worth it, or the part of them that's more in touch with circumstances, situations, and how long they've been there than the part that wants to go forward. So as you found your way here today, let me just say to you, what is a life coach? A life coach has several and very, very important responsibilities. And if you're thinking of having a life coach, I want to give you now how to know that you have the right coach. You want to interview, you want to look around, you want to find the person who fundamentally you believe understands transformation, has done it, has real world experience and real world results that you can measure, that you can touch, that you can see, that you can feel, that is not just talking about the possibility, but that has helped many somebodies transform their life from one result to another result in measurable and significant ways that really matter to their clients. You want somebody who's going to help you absolutely get clear about a life you would love living, who knows how to ask questions and unlock the potential that's in you, and help you really get clear. Like we said at the beginning, you might be somebody who's been struggling, or you might be somebody who's dealing with the enemy of great, which is good. It's good. My life is good. I don't want to rock the apple cart, but I know there's more. Or I simply don't know what would make me happy. I don't know what I would like. You want somebody who's going to help you get really clear, because you're trading your one precious, sacred life for the way you live it. And without the picture of what you would really love, it's very hard to allow yourself to recognize it, allow it, make friends with it, and bring it into existence. You want someone who can help you form a very clear and concrete, actionable plan, and someone who also understands how to stay inside the vision no matter what the circumstances are doing, long enough for those circumstances to begin to shift and change. You want somebody who absolutely knows and believes deeply that there is more potential in you than the life you've been living, who stands by your side while you're going through circumstances, but is not impressed by your circumstances, but somebody who is very impressed with the power that's breathing you and the life that is seeking to express and give itself by means of you. And somebody who also knows that when you come most alive, you're absolutely in your zone of genius, that the power that brought you into existence has amazing, unique talents and gifts that are embedded in you, just waiting to be nurtured and supported and brought forth. And that it's the most natural thing to live a life you love living. It is not the most normal thing. 98% of humans live and die without ever knowing, really, the power and the wonder of what's inside them, just waiting to be unlocked, unleashed, harnessed, and turned into a life that not only is the life they love living, but by means of that, the contribution they're able to bring, the difference they're able to make, the impact that brings to their children, their family, their workplace, their community, their world. If you're thinking of life coaching, you want somebody who deeply cares about you and understands what real transformation is. And you want to interview your person for that. You want to talk to whoever it is that is enrolling their clients and be sure that those things are in place for you. You want a coach who's going to help you understand and uncover the hidden things that are keeping you from your success. They're really hidden obstacles. I mean, if you could see them, you'd change them immediately. But you get close and then something else happens, or you almost did, and then this, or it just starts to come in and then it goes away. You want someone who understands how to allow, and help you bring sustained, lasting change to your life. So is a life coach like a self-help book? Not really. Unlike self-help books, which I have a number of books on my shelf, and frankly, I've read all these books. But what I would say to you is you can have a lot of shelf help. It's someone who helps you unpack that awareness. I mean, most of us know way more than we're doing. We know about a lot of things more than our life shows. So you want someone who helps you ground that awareness and an increasing awareness into, as I said before, measurable, real-world, sustainable results that are in harmony with the picture that you dream up of a life you would love living. So life coaches don't give you a one-size-fits-all advice or a pile of information that you are left to digest and implement on your own. Life coaches help you have a very clear design of your one unique life, what it is that lights you up, helps you plunk around and explore and find in your imagination, and helps you break through the barriers of thinking that, well, how am I going to do that? And we help you put the how on hold long enough to find out a really clear what, based on a very solid why. Why would, what's trying to happen with you? And we also provide accountability, where there's a regular, repetitive way in which we're making an agreement for even baby steps in a week. But you're going to be surprised, I think, as you do life coaching, and you have somebody who really does care about you and really does understand transformation working with you. I think you're going to be surprised how quick and easy it can be, honestly. That you're heading down life's highway. You might have been heading in the same direction based on your training, based on the way you were trained to do life, and then you make just a 1-degree shift with your life coach, just a beginning to think about things just a little bit differently, and that brings a little bit different doing, a little bit different, and you made this 1-degree shift. You go down life's road, a calendar length of about 3 months, 6 months, you just changed 1 degree, but now you're in a whole new place. You're in a whole new place. Baby steps will take you all the way up Mount Everest if you just keep taking them. Challenge is not if you keep taking them in every direction. if you take them in the right direction, if you take them in the direction of what your Mount Everest is, what the peak of what it is that you would love to experience with your time, with your family, with perhaps the love of your life that seems missing and gone and either never met or met and somehow love got stale, or. But there are 4 domains where you're going to live a life anyway. Let's say you and I don't work together. Let's say this was the one time I ever got to encounter you in all of eternity. Then know this, that a year from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, you don't get to not create results. You will create results. The same way I created results by ending up in a hospital bed. Because this river of light, this river of life that's pouring through you must in fact mirror itself back to you based on the pattern of the way you're being inside life. And whether you know it or not, your thinking, your general thinking, and the way you generally think about things has a pattern to it. And life reflects itself back. It always looks like it's happening to us, but it's always happening with and through us. You want somebody who cares enough to help you unpack that potential in you, to live a life you really do love living. Coaching is not at all like therapy. It's not about searching for why and where did it begin. And I'm a trained therapist. I spent years doing that particular form of transformation, and there is a real time and a real place for therapy. But life coaching is entirely different. Life coaching is a place where you're safe to share what's going on, but with a really good life coach, that person is never going to make an agreement with how bad the problem is or how big it seems. They're going to stand for and with you. They're going to deeply believe that there's more potential in you than you've lived from. And that in fact, no matter how much potential you learn to release and allow and step into, the power breathing you is always going to be more. And that life can get easier for you. That it really, you are the person that's meant to live a life of freedom and fulfillment. See, I deeply believe that there is more potential in every single one of us than we're living from. And I deeply believe that no matter how much wonder and glory our life is, that there's still more potential that it would seek to express and expand itself. And that it's no respecter of age. It doesn't matter what age you are. And the thought that, well, I should have done this 10 years ago, or life has passed me by, is just a thought pattern that would keep you stuck even for the rest of your life. This is your moment. That's why you're here. Now, what kind of problems does a life coach solve? Well, a life coach actually doesn't solve the problem, but a life coach works with you and these problems get solved. If you've got a soul-sucking job, let's change that. If you have an unhappy or a non-existent love life, would you like to change that? What about an ongoing struggle to make ends meet? And you just think that's the way it is, or that's the way the economy is. What if it were true that it was just the way the economy is, everybody would be having the same struggle? And you can tell they're not. They're not. There's something else that's going on that you have access to that's way more powerful than what the economy's doing. If you've not been well, if you've not been vibrantly well, if you have a chronic illness, or repeated mysterious health problems, let's change that. What about confusion about what you would really like, what your true purpose is? There's a way to get clear. How about a feeling of victimhood, or despair, or self-criticism, fear, self-doubt, worry, doubt, all of this? Thank God for that woman who came to a bed, who spoke to a very young woman about her potential, who gave her a simple framework. When she heard what this young woman wanted to be and do with her life, gave her a very simple framework to repeat and do this numerous times. And systematically, within a couple of weeks, my numbers improved after that surgery. I was able to go home to my parents' house in an ambulance where my husband and my young son were staying. And over time, because I kept doing what she suggested, and she gave me a very clear framework for how to relate to myself and my life by holding a vision, and she told me how to install a way that gave me a structure of support. About 4 months later, I'm sitting in the specialist office along with the surgeon, and they're looking at my numbers. This is after going many, many times for tests after I got out of the hospital, and the numbers kept improving. And after about 4 months, I'm sitting there and they're scratching their head and saying, we have no science for what's happened with this kidney. We have no medical science for what should be, how this happened. We're going to call this a medical anomaly. So why I care so deeply about this is I've dedicated my life. That was in 1967. I studied everything I could find till about 1981 before I ever started teaching. This was after I got my master's degree and my graduate degree and all kinds of things. This is your moment. You found your way to this spot on the web. You found your way. You're going to have lots of benefits when you find a really great life coach. You're going to turn whatever your longing is around your vocation into a work that you love doing, that you feel matters, that has significance and impact for you. And if you would love to have that love of your life, and you've had stories about why that's not true, or you're just not good at it, or whatever the story is, we're going to write a new story together. And if it's not me, find somebody then who will really help you, who cares enough, is trained enough, and has enough real-world experience and the clients to prove it, that can really help you. So the process, of course, is different with many different life coaches. How much they cost is different with the coach that you're working with and the ones you're interviewing. And I think the question really is, what does it cost not to? Because when you can see that your life has been perhaps in love or money or vocation or health particularly, that it's been in a pattern that you might call problem or stuck or not enoughness or just settling, you're trading your life for this. How much does it cost not to? It's the life you could live. It's the life you would live. That's what it costs. So I just want to invite you now, if you're wondering if you need a life coach, you can answer some questions that you'll find on the written page. You can look at whether or not you're ready to want to have a life that's more fulfilling, more fun, more freedom-making than the one you've been living. And perhaps you don't even believe it's possible for you. And yet it's worth a conversation. It's worth a conversation because right now, if you're still listening to this video, I guess you are because you're here, that part of you that wants to go forward, notice it. It's wondering if just in fact this would work for you. And there's another part of you that's cynical, that's trying to argue like heck with you for why, just, come back to this, do this again later. It's going to try to delay you and distract you. And it will actually try, that part of you that doesn't want to go forward will actually try to dissuade you and tell you, your life is, you should just be grateful for your life. I can promise you this. Again, if we never see each other again, that part of you that wants to go forward is your real life. It's the thing breathing you. It's ever seeking a freer, fuller, expanded expression and experience of itself by means of itself. That means you. It means a blade of grass that will press through cement seeking the light. In the Talmud it says, every blade of grass has an angel that leans over it and whispers, grow, grow, grow. That little blade of grass, seeking to be the very best blade of grassness it can become, will press right through cement. So the cement of conditions, no matter how long they've been there, is not more powerful than that urge of life in you. But if you don't express it, then you must suppress it, and it will have to symptomize in all kinds of things that are not life-giving to you. So this is your moment now. I want to encourage you to have a conversation with our company, and let's talk about what there are for possibilities for you. It costs you nothing to do that, and it might cost you a whole lot not to take a look at what's possible for you. Again, I'm going to encourage you to make sure that the life coach you select, if you choose one, is fundamentally somebody who really does understand transformation and has a real-world experience and evidence to show that, and deeply and profoundly cares about the clients they work with, has a fundamental belief that there's more potential and power and wonder in every single one of us than we've been living in, and that the very power breathing us is seeking to express and experience itself more fully. That will show up as your business. That will show up as your relationship. That will show up in all the patterns that we give it once you get clear about what you really would love with the help of someone who helps you get clear. Doesn't believe in the power of the obstacles, doesn't believe in how, doesn't matter how long it's been there. And the success stories that I have the privilege of enjoying because I have clients who really wanted their lives to transform, really wanted their lives, their businesses, their relationships, their health, their money. It is, for me, the greatest life there is to have individual after individual, company after company, just report the amazing, amazing results, because there's an invisible pattern to the results we're having. Just in the way there was an invisible pattern to the toxicity that was rampaging my body, threatening my very life. We can tune to and create a pattern for a life you love living. And the science of transformation, of course, is holding that vibration through the activity of your daily life with support from somebody who deeply knows who you truly are and cares deeply about your result. I'm glad you came today. I want to invite you to have a conversation with us, and let's see if there isn't a good fit. At least it'll be a conversation that I can promise you this: you will be clearer about the life you'd love to live by that conversation. Again, thanks for coming today.